So this is the analysis of Moonlapse Vertigo, which is poem number 4 from the concept album Still Life. Moonlapse Vertigo. Kept warm by the light of the lantern, lost sight of everything tonight. My presence blackens their pattern, a pock in the healthy and calm. Their scorn behind your back, my promise would put them down. No trace of reverence left, immemorial fire in their eyes. I would perish at the given signal, at the slightest touch from my soul. Tainted prophet in flesh, for all the plagued and lost. Dripping sin, decision in stalemate, dare to feel death at hand, surprised me with its voice. Through the forest came the morn. Across the leafy pathway, their deeds smeared in blood, for all to behold. The council of the cross must have sensed my coming. The pest through the air, with despise for squalor, lashing out at the poor. I turned away my eyes, in pallor escape from the end, fading time to leave from here, and less to fulfill my task. She would be safe and firm, nothing of this is in vain, taken away from stifling grace, and saved from the past. Our first quote, my presence blackens their pattern, a pock in the healthy and calm. The techniques we have, first person narration, which is where the persona, narrator, the voice in the poem, it is from their perspective and they are a character. Secondly, we have symbolism where something symbolizes something else. Now, the symbolism here is a pock. Pock being singular for pox, which is a disease. Effect, the persona has entered the town. He's finally got there. And immediately he feels uneasy and he is hyper aware of how the townspeople see him. Right? He knows how judgmental they are. And he's just entered this arena. Their scorn behind your back, immemorial fire in their eyes. The techniques we have are motif, which is a repeated image or idea, and assonance, which is where we have repeated vowel sounds, so behind, fire, eyes. Now the effect, his fears are realized as the townspeople judge him severely as he enters and walks through the town. He feels them judging him as he walks through. The persona feels as though they are burning him with their stares. And fire here is the motif. Not so much a motif in this poem, but motif in the album, right? So across the text as a whole. He is associated with fire, Melinda is associated with water. I would perish at the given signal, at the slightest touch from my soul. Techniques we have, premonition. Right, so at any point, any of these townspeople could give the order to kill him. And that's the premonition that he has. And we have high modality. Right, it is a certainty, it is a guarantee that can happen. The effect, it emphasizes how judgmental the townspeople are and how much they still hate him. It also emphasizes how uneasy he's feeling as a result of being back here. Through the forest came the morn. Techniques we have here, visual imagery, so it's describing what he sees, and direct discourse. Right, he's telling us directly that the sun's risen. The effect, now, this stanza as a whole shows how his feeling of being judged and his uneasy is, how uneasy he's feeling, how uncomfortable he's feeling, is building up and creating this great sense of anxiety. It's ramping up to a climax, or to a fever point. This line, however, at the end of that stanza, shows how the sun rising relieves the persona of that building anxiety and that building uneasiness. The use of the sun here conflicts with the symbolism from how the light is symbolized in Benighted. If you remember, He's trying to convince Melinda to come into the darkness and away from the stifling light and the prison of light that is the town. The light now represents hope and relief in the persona, as opposed to something that needs to be run away from. If anything, the light here is now relieving him from the light of the town. Their deeds smeared in blood for all to behold. Techniques we have hyperbole, right, exaggeration, and free verse. Blood and behold don't rhyme, so it's free verse. The effect, it illustrates the people who run the town, right? This is the first time that we've seen them. They've come out from wherever it was they were. What they've done is smeared in blood. They have maimed and tortured and killed a lot of people. And not only that, they've let the town watch. They haven't hidden it. It's been out in the open. So it also establishes the fear that they command in the town. Right? By killing all these people and maiming them and torturing them and all that, no one else is going to cross them for fear that this is going to happen to them. The Council of the Cross must have sensed my coming. So techniques, first one is cacophony, which is like the opposite of euphony, which we had in an earlier poem. So cacophony, that repeated hard C sound, council cross coming, creates this harsh sound in the ear, which represents what's happening. And the second one, we have biblical allusion, where something from the Bible is being alluded to. In this case, the cross, which Jesus, or as I prefer to refer to him, Jesus, was crucified and sacrificed. The effect, this portrays the leaders as devout and religious. And if we combine this with the quote before, we understand exactly how they torture, maim, and kill people, right, through religious means. And being their Council of the Cross, they've probably crucified a few people in their time. This shows how closely they surveil the town, right? This shows how closely they watch the town and they know everything that's going on. I turned away my eyes in pallor escape from the end, fading time to leave from here and less to fulfill my task. The techniques we have first is active voice, right? So because the noun is doing the verb, the person in the text is doing the action, we have active voice. And then we have abjection. Now, I believe I've explained abjection before, but just in case you've forgotten or I haven't, abjection is where something repulses you, you want to run away from it, yet you can't, yet you're drawn in. So in this case, the town and the townspeople, the town leaders, are the source of abjection, right? They're simultaneously repelling the persona, yet drawing him back. The effect, so this demonstrates how much the persona wants to leave and run away from the council, yet he must stay to finish what he's come to do, right? They must stay to finish what they have come to do. They must stay to save Melinda and free her. Taken away from stifling grace and saved from the past. So techniques we have circumlocution, so talking around the specific thing, and we have paradox, where we have opposing ideas creating one image. So the paradox here is stifling grace. Normally, grace is something that frees you and helps you feel comfortable. Stifling, it means you're constrained, you're being restrained, and you're uncomfortable in what you're in. So the stifling grace is the paradox. Effect emphasizes that he has come to protect and save Melinda from this town and this council. Right, he wants to save her from what this town has done, not only to her, but to everyone else. And her family and to him, and free her from this grace prison, for want of a better term.